Ralph's been with the group about 5 years, and so he has presented before and had some very interesting things in his previous presentation, so I'm sure he'll thrill us again today. Rob?
So, Robert, Graphic Design and Illustration. I specialize in illustration. A lot of graphic designers that I usually end up running out to are really good at composition and stuff like that, and layouts and that type of thing. But I actually start from the beginning with a nice little pencil. I'm going to just go over two of the types of stuff that I do for a lot of people, and that's one is patent illustration and technical illustration, and the other is like books and printed materials. So I'm going to try and get this going pretty quick. A lot of the stuff that I do in patent illustration, this is actually the type of, if I get drawings, this is the type of drawings that I get given to me. And sometimes they'll steal from other stuff, like this was actually stolen from a book, and then they end up actually scribbling over top of this. But a lot of the stuff that I get is kind of like this, or worse.
I thought that looks like your work.
But then I end up taking this type of stuff and turning it into this. And this is actually for an eye visualization device that actually tracks the back of your retina to actually project the image on the back of your eye so that you can see. And flowcharts will go on a lot of the patent stuff. And as you can see, I also get stuff that is engineering drawings. And a lot of that, sometimes it's just way too much information, or there's a lot of black areas, or it'll be like from 3D modeling programs. The patent office, the government doesn't like all of that extraneous stuff. And so I end up taking stuff like this and reducing it down to like this. Because it's about the simplicity and about the simplicity of explaining it, and basically doing that at about a 6th grade level. This was a pill dispenser. This was a very quick project. This is a lot of flow charts and stuff like that, but I actually had to do this in about 2 or 3 days. We actually ended up flying down to Texas for this. This was a water purification system that would actually end up going into stores. That would actually purify, and that was the actual machine that all the rest of the flow charts went to. This is about $1 million tape project, and it was based upon that nice little bevel that went actually into lawsuit this last year. This was for an evaporative system, and this is as you can see, it's all labeled. That's a utility patent, and that means that it's a process or a procedure, or there's a mechanization to the whole thing. And I'll actually show you, this is an electronics diagram for what went on in there. Flows for the water, the pipe systems, and they would actually put these out on lakes and basically evaporate the entire lake. I created all the logos for this system. This is one of their standard digitized monitors that had to be displayed. And sometimes I have to go back in and correct stuff. This is a design patent. There were actually 2 designs done on this, one with the box, and then one with the actual template for the box. So those are actually 2 separate patents for that one. This is for some eyeglasses that you can actually find in your Bass Pro Shops. It actually separates. It's another design patent. As you can see, there's no labeling on there. Simplicity, key design. You can find these at your Ace Hardwares and Home Depot's anywhere the guy's out, probably golfing right now, somewhere. Chair design, you can see in the bottom area, a lot of this is in dots. That means that it's actually not getting addressed. This is some of my other illustration for books. This was a radio announcer. Ad for a guy, computer place up in Fort Collins, or Loveland area. Product design. Boulder County Fair. Postcard, green card. Fronts of books. Political stuff. This was a product of my own called Ian Gets Dressed. And that was a little book. Again, more political type stuff. Topics. I don't necessarily judge one way or the other. Artist in a capitalistic world, so I end up looking at both sides or offering both viewpoints. So that's basically the two topics I ended up covering today. So if there's any questions, I'd love to hear.
What program do you use for the diagrams and stuff?
Adobe Illustrator. Primarily, I mean, there's a lot of programs that I'll use Adobe Photoshop if I'm actually doing rasterized work or if I need to do some correction type stuff in that area. The nice thing about Adobe Illustrator is it's all vector-based, and the quality of what I need to turn into the U.S. Patent Office has to be these nice crisp lines and has to be at the specific point size, and that's all achievable in Illustrator. So, anybody else?
Well, I gotta say that you're extremely talented. And one of his previous presentations that he's done is he actually drew Dan.
I was about to ask if anybody was here for that.
Yeah. I mean, while he was here, he was drawing Dan. And it was
Just
just,
to get a character of it,
yeah.
looks better than me.
And the thing is that, I mean, I talk about how I start with a pencil and paper. I mean, where I started was the old way of doing stuff. I can remember doing drafting and having my instructor, basically going, oh, that's not an A or that's not a straight line, and basically your entire project gets crumpled up and you get to start all over again. Okay, this is simpler and allows it to be cheaper. I don't know that it necessarily allows it to be faster. But there's a lot of technology that I've gotten on board with that, because this is an ever-changing industry. So I've got a tablet that I actually draw on, and that's what actually I ended up bringing in that day, was a tablet that I was able to alter the features of Dan and embellish some areas and draw out some other things, and then basically simplify it into something that was more cartoon stylized.
I still have that picture. I was going to use it on my car.
One of your last presentations, you did some of your painting.
Mm-hmm.
When are you going to have a show of your painting?
When I rebuild up my collection again. That's an ongoing process. I've been actually very busy that's one of the reasons why I ended up showing a lot of that today. This past 6 months I've been very busy in the patent world, so.
Does that pay better?
Do that?
Does it pay better? That's relative. I mean, I won't say that, I think the entire field is a little bit of a roller coaster, and it goes along with the economy to a greater extent. The more that, the better, I can't even say that the better the economy is, that the more work I get, because there's certain points that, because I think everybody's hungry, that actually get more work in the patent area, whereas when I'm doing some of the book stuff or that's cuter, and more fine art driven, that I actually end up getting more of that work, so.
Can you clarify for me, so, obviously direct to the customer, but like working with like patent lawyer firms, or like, what do you, because there's a lot of different talents that you're kind of like exposing to me now.
Right. I primarily do. It's more. Most of my work is B2B, as a designer. As a designer, and I say that in two respects, because as an artist, this is completely different than my artwork. Because in this area, I'm working for you. There's no me going into it. There might be some of me being offered in development or design-wise, but I'm offering my skill set to my client to make this.
The person who developed the glasses is working directly with you, not the law firm.
They will actually bring me in to contract with the inventor or engineer or planner.
And with the other stuff that you're doing now.
Right.
What-
I'm a marketing person. And then I'll end up working directly with the marketing person. Sometimes I'll work directly with the writer. Sometimes I've been contacted specifically by an engineer to do up their stuff. They didn't have anybody. They actually ended up finding me on LinkedIn, but they couldn't find someone to do their illustrations. And I guess their law firm actually didn't have anybody that they referred out to them, so.
Cool.
How can we find people to refer to you?
I like
Attorneys,
attorneys,
inventors,
engineers, anybody who basically doesn't think that they can draw. I disagree, but it's a practice thing with me. But it's people who need to have a visual done for like a book. I'll be working with a lamp company to do assembly drawings this year. The technical stuff, to the fine art, I mean, I've worked with naked people to toilet bowls, so.
That is the range.
It's a broad range.
Hopefully not at the same time.
And you say, you say that, what do you do? And it's I solve problems explaining stuff with pictures. That's my job. That's my offer out to you. So if you know someone who's having a hard time getting the words out and actually needs a picture,
One time you mentioned animation.
I still do stuff like that.
Is it stick figure animation or what's that?
That's a complexity issue. Because the more detailed, the more involved it is, the more it's going to cost. You're not going to find a small business person doing stuff from Disney. You're going to find a startup getting more simplistic stuff that's going to be more stick figure like, more quick animations, more explainer type videos than you are going to have the full fluid animation type stuff.
Okay, well, thank you, Rob.
Yep.